Including the last lesson, so far all the moods we have used are happy slash uplifting, sad slash emotional, dark slash mysterious, and also big slash loud as the last lesson. In this video, we're focusing on the mood of mellow. Imagine on a sunny day, you've got not much to do on your list, so maybe you want to hang outside and relax, pouring yourself a nice glass of beverage and enjoying the combination of sun and the music perhaps. That's the type of mood we're aiming for. And as you see on the screen here today, I've prepared two different types of samples that we're going to be using and basing our whole entire beat based off of those samples. So let's go ahead and preview these sounds real quick. That's a pretty nice road. And then next thing we have is the whistle. Pretty simple one there. But at the same time as a combination, it's pretty nice together. All right, let's go ahead and start. So I'm going to go ahead and start making the drum kit here. Oh, actually, before we start, let's go ahead and pitch this down a little bit because we don't want to just keep using the original content. So why don't we go ahead and go over here, maybe like pitch it down, and then change it to Complex Pro mode, and then change the format to about 32. All right, let's hear what that sounds like. A little bit lower of pitch, but that's okay. Okay, now we're going to begin constructing a drum. I've also noticed like when you're adding kicks and snares, it's usually really nice to add on places where the samples, like melodies, like this road for instance, as soon as that lands on the downbeat, having like the kicks and stuff really tend to really emphasize the sound a little more. And then now let me go ahead and add some more percussions and some hi-hats here to complete the drums. So that's pretty good so far. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. And then now I'm going to add some more maybe like percussions and shakers. And usually about after 8 bars, I usually like to start to change the movement of the drums a little bit. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to start adding more of like the drive by adding additional notes of the drum elements, and then making it a little bit faster pace. Okay, now that's pretty good for hi-hats and shakers, and I'm just gonna have maybe like one or two percussions here and there. And remember, we're aiming for something mellow and peaceful and like chill type of thing, so we're not gonna go for anything too crazy here. It's a nice little weird beetle thing. Let's go ahead and change this pong sound a little bit. Maybe like pitch it up. Let's go and warp it and make it a little bit shorter perhaps. And then I'm gonna change the formats of this and then maybe like sounds pretty good there. It's kind of random, but it's okay. Okay, and just about every 8 measure bars, I'd like to add something that kind of indicates the movement of the pattern of these, the whole entire arrangement here. And easily with these type of genres, we can usually use like a crash, which is like really nice, very simple and basic, but very effective. We're looking for something like nice and not too hard. That sounds pretty good. Let's see, try this one. And then about every 8 bars, I like to like reverse things. And then shorten it a little bit. If you do end up using this crash as like a reverse cymbal, do cut like a teeny bit of it. And for in this instance, like just this little highlighted part, because when it rises up, you don't want the dynamics of the reverse crash to be matching as this one because. When it gets too loud, everything else just kind of ducks underneath and tends to not be present compared to the other ones. So therefore, what we're doing here is because we make this reverse cymbal quieter, this coming up cymbal that hits afterwards is a little bit louder. So let's hear what that sounds like. All right, that's pretty good. Now let's go ahead and like play around with these like melody types of things to make it a little bit more exciting. What I'm gonna do here is make an additional track down here and basically play around with the melodies that we have and then see what kind of results we get here. Okay, that's pretty good with the Rhodes. Now let's work on the whistle a little bit. Basically, all I'm doing here is just basically chopping and just playing around with the patterns a little bit and shifting the whole difference to making like a different pattern pretty much. And one of the ways to do that best of that is to just kind of press Control or Command if you're on Mac, and then just basically smash in this space bar and create like a rhythm pattern with it. And that's what I've done here. I'm not going to go too crazy into it just because I think we have like the basic part of what I'm wanting to do here is all there. So I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate that and then maybe come up with a bass line here now. And my most often used instrument for the sub bass in these videos are this hip hop bass. So now let's go and figure it out. I believe this is in a key of E. I think the bass note could be a C sharp. I think that sounds pretty good. It's a pretty simple pattern that we got there, but it's pretty effective. So I think I'm just going to keep it with that. And I'm going to make like some extra edits here for the first 8 measures, and then maybe like add like a tiny little variation to it in the second half of the 16 bars here. And then we can complete like a basic 16 bar. That's pretty good so far. And then now let's maybe like add like an extra melody here just to make it more interesting than it has to be. In fact, why don't we go ahead and start making our arrangements first, and then maybe we can talk more about that later. So what I'm going to do here now is 16 bars pretty good of like the first half of the drop, and then maybe we can add like the 17 to another 16 bar here pretty much, and then we can start arranging things here. What I'm gonna do is make some room for the intro, and then I think we can go with this as like an intro. That's pretty nice. Alright, so that's pretty good for the intro, and now what we're gonna do is just add some effects here to make it a little bit more interesting as an intro. What I'm gonna do is use an auto filter here real quick and just basically make this sweeping motion. Right click on the filter frequency to automate, and I'm going to, I added 2 of them, so I'm just gonna go ahead and slowly build this in so it'll sound like this. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and add this reverse cymbal, so it'll sound like this all together. Sorry, I actually forgot to unmute this thing, so let's go ahead and start from here. And now I'm gonna add some extra patterns. All right. So overall, that's going to be as much as I'm trying to cram inside this project. So first, we started off with these two elements here. In fact, let's go ahead and put them back to the original pitch, actually. This is what we originally had. And then we turned it into this, along with the rest of the beat. I think this is significantly much more different than what we could have done just with these original samples and just letting them play by themselves. On top of that, we went ahead inside and we dissected it a little bit, and then we made it even more playful. So that makes it even more, gives it more character to the track and makes it more of a, it sets itself apart from like using the original sample is what we're going for. So here's the overall mood of Mellow. And then we have used these two samples to construct this rest of the beat. And then we have filled in some of the kicks, snares, hi-hats, shakers, and two percussions that we have here. And we used a reverse crash and a regular crash cymbal to make the transitions happen. So hope you learned a whole bunch, and I will be continuing this type of vibe on the next video. So I'll catch you guys later.